So tonight, we'll be doing Heroes of Hammerwatch. It is an amazing game. I've spent way too much time playing it. In the first week, I actually put in 89 hours. And that says a lot because I don't have a whole lot of free time, but oh man, it's so good. I've streamed it, I've watched people stream it, and I've noticed the same questions coming up over and over and over again. So tonight, we're doing hints and tips of Heroes of Hammerwatch. The first one, before you even play the game, we're going to go to the game settings and set aim guide, which shows a thin line to assist in aiming, to yes. And we're also going to show key count and set it to yes. These are not set to yes by default. So you do have to go in there and click those things. And you can mess with all these other things if you want to mess with them, but these are the only two things I recommend doing highly if you plan on beating the end boss, which is a dragon. We're going to get a little bit of sound going here. There we go. And this is the first menu you see when you open the game. I have erased my save file. As you can see, I have no characters to choose from. So what we're going to choose first is a sorcerer. Now, this is your actual first time playing the game. You have 4 initial characters to choose from, 3 unlockable characters. Super awesome they are. We're going to focus on the sorcerer for this run. We're going to call him Mr. Awesome. Mr. Awesome. Now, Mr. Awesome is a sorcerer. He's long range, which is super important. It's my preferred game style. Now, if you're more of a short range, tanky kind of person, go for the paladin. But let me warn you, in the beginning of the game, with none of the town unlocked, with no levels, no stars to put in, I'll explain all this here in a little bit, he is very difficult. You've got to get right up the butt of your enemies in order to hit them. And if you're not very versed with roguelike games or, top-down style games, this may not be the best choice for you. That's why I choose Sorcerer. With the Sorcerer, we may actually get to the first boss in the first time we go into the dungeon with zeros across the board for everything. No extra money, no keys, no ore, no nothing. And I'm pretty excited about it. So we're going to go ahead and start with the Sorcerer. His name is Mr. Awesome. And we're going to change his color palette. This is however you want to do it. I do it a specific way to help me while I'm playing the game. So his robe, I always like to have blue because it's easy to see against the contrast of the backgrounds that you play in. His border just means his shoes. So really anything you want there, but the hat has got to be the red hat. Helps out dramatically. And the skin color has to be the brightest skin color there. Again, you can do anything you want with this. I do it because it helps me see where he's directionally located. As you can see down here at the bottom, it shows you every different angle the wizard or the sorcerer looks at. And with those angles is exactly how you're going to see him inside of the game. So that's what we're going to set our colors to. And we're going to hit play. Now, as you can see, I have a line where my cursor is, and that's exactly the line my shots are going to follow when I shoot. I couldn't care less that it does that. That makes no difference. The line is actually for late game when you can get confused. Confused inverts all of your controls, including where your mouse is located and the WASD directional buttons you have down here. Up becomes down becomes up, left becomes right, right becomes left. This guy tells you, we need help rebuilding our town. Now, this game's pretty straightforward. If you've ever played a game called Azur's Dreams for PS1, you'll know exactly the game. You go into a tower, you try and fight to the top. There's certain things you can do to be better when you initially go in to get higher up as you go. The major difference between this game and that game is you level up in this game. Super awesome. And if you haven't played Azur's Dreams, oh my god, it's a dream. It's amazing. You have little monsters that come out of your bag. Everything's on a grid pattern. Oh, so good. So good. We're going to focus on this game tonight. Sorry about that. You can see everything's got cobwebs. Nothing is open. This is a completely new file. 0 gold, 0 ore, and 0 stars. So we're just going to go ahead and just jump right in. For those who don't know and haven't played it before, this is an armored enemy, and I do 5 damage to him. This is a normal enemy. I do 6 damage to him. And this is a magic enemy. I do 5 damage to him. Now you can see after it hits the first enemy, it automatically targets the next enemy to hit. That's what his primary attack does. It fires a Frost Shard, deals 6 hybrid damage. Frost Shards ricochet 1 time. That becomes important later on. His right click is Comet 1. It drops a comet, deals 40 hybrid damage split among all enemies in the area of impact. Enemies hit are frozen in place for 2 seconds. Now, none of this is important outside of area of impact. The reason we're choosing the Sorcerer over the Warlock, for instance, because the Warlock has more sustainability in the long run, is because the Sorcerer's abilities are not target specific. For instance, this says it ricochets 1 time. That means it'll hit 2 enemies at most when I fire his primary attack. This just hits the area. So there's 30 dudes in that area. It hits the 30 dudes. Just boom. All of them take the damage. With the Warlock, each of his abilities are based on amount of targets. So if there's 30 dudes in the area, for instance, for the Warlock starting, it's only going to hit 7 of those when you use his right click. That's it. It won't do any more. 6. I think it's 6, maybe 4. But it's a finite number, as opposed to the Sorcerer, who is not a finite number. The bosses, you just have to know the bosses to get through them, so it doesn't matter when you get to the boss on how you're doing. What matters is getting through the levels in the first part of the game, and that's what this is. This is the tips and tricks for starting out in Heroes of Hammerwatch. These are all his stats on the character screen. You can see I've got 75 mana with 1.5 mana regen. I've got 0 skill power, 0 attack power, and 40 health with 0 health regen. My move speed is 2.4, and I get 100% experience currently. That can change with obelisks or items you pick up or different stuff like that, which we'll discuss here in a little bit. My protection, you can see they're all labeled on where they're located. My protection is my resistance to magic damage, and my protection against physical damage. I have 0 physical and 2 resistance because, you know, Sorcerer. My resources are what I'm currently carrying versus what's in the town. I'm in the town, and I haven't done anything, so I have 0 on everything. And these are the number of keys I have, which doesn't matter anymore because I enabled the HUD to show me the number of keys I have. This is the map, which you can drag around, which is a super important aspect of the map. And these are the current places I can go to. This is the shop. This is the trainer. This is where you upgrade your town. This is the blacksmith. And this is the dungeon itself. Now you'll notice the blacksmith and the church both have X's on them. I haven't unlocked them yet. We're about to get there. So for right now, we're going to just run straight in and start kicking butt and taking names. Because hardcore stuff, guys. Now, this is referred to as a trap. It's just learning how to do it without taking damage. There's no specialness about it. That was a chest and a button to disable the trap. You always see an icon above your head, which I'll show you on the next go-round. Because there's going to be more than one before we exit the first time in the dungeon. So we're going to head up. You always want to go up first. The exit 90% of the time is down. So you're going to want to go up to clear the top first and then go down to clear the bottom. This doohicker guy here is the ore miner. So he just tells you there's an elevator here where you can deliver your stuff to town. And right now I can send 4 ore and 300 gold, which I'm not going to do. And I'll explain that here in a little bit. On your first times in the dungeon, the most important thing to send back is the ore. Gold is pretty important too, but not as important as the ore. So for instance, if I had 10,000 gold and 6 ore, I'd probably just keep going. I wouldn't send it down the elevator. But if I had 18 ore and like 200 gold, I'd totally send that down the elevator. Because ore is where it's at, especially in the beginning. You have to upgrade your town, and then upgrade your own character. Now you'll notice I'm also not getting anywhere near these enemies. Screw you, guy. I don't want to take any damage. As you can see right here, I have no potion available to me. Did you just... Oh my gosh. You just dodged me, like, hard. Alright, these little chink noises you're hearing are me picking up gold. And then the round things are ores, and we'll get to that here in a minute. Now the wizard does something called hybrid damage, which makes absolutely no sense. I believe it's halfway in between physical and magical, which means there is a set number you're going to do to all enemies no matter what they are. Armored, magical, resistant, or normal. So it like doesn't cut as much. For instance, as the paladin, you'll be doing the majority of your damage is physical, and that's just what his damage is. So if there's an armored enemy, you're going to be doing a lot less damage, but like to a magical enemy, you'll be doing a lot more damage. Whereas the hybrid damage does just a little bit less to both armored and magical alike. And the normal enemies just take the normal amount. Oof. almost ended terribly. Now, I shouldn't have done what I just did there, and I paid a little bit of a price for it. Paid a big price for it, actually. We're going to be utilizing corners a lot. That's a really good way to not take damage. You make the enemies get into a corridor here, and then you just run back and forth. And that way you know you're not going to be taking any unnecessary hits. And in this instance, we're going to drop our main damage dealer there. And we're just going to keep taking them out little by little. This is a spawner. Good time to use your magical abilities, but if you don't want to, you don't have to. You can see he's not taking much damage-wise. He's considered a construct, so he doesn't have the same constraints. And then I'll tell you what, too. I went in as a warlock earlier to see if I could get that done, because the warlock does have more sustainability. But I'm going to tell you right here now, I'm doing way better as a sorcerer, and I'm getting way more enemies on the field, which is really nice. Okay, now here's a very important aspect to remember of the game. You are looking at a downward angle, so you're not straight up and down in your character. So this is actually the bottom part of the wall. And if I were to shoot downward, you see it goes all the way down. It does not stop here on this line. That becomes very important later on, and with a few traps. Anytime your character goes green, he's behind your vision, which means you don't really see all of him. That's another trap room there, and I'll show you what I was talking about earlier with the little icon above your avatar. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and just take care of that real quick. Each trap, you're just going to have to learn them. Where you can stand, where you can't stand, what you have to wait for, what you can't wait for. Now that's the icon right there. It's a little white arrow that constantly grows up and down. This means I'm pushing a button. Boom, button pushed, trap is deactivated. All right, come over here. Same one comes up with this chest. Now I'm going to run a little up here, and then I'm going to show you that's what a chest looks like on the map. Everything shows up on the map. The circle with a plus in the middle, that's a health pickup. The diamond in the circle, that's a mana pickup. And that is a chest. Now, if it has a square on that line, that means it is a locked chest. This one does not, so I can just open it. Heavy gauntlets, super good item. We'll go over items as soon as this floor is cleared. That we will. Now, that is one health pickup. That's an orange. It heals more than apples. And apples look like apples like normally look. There's not really too much to go off of there. That's a spawner with a bunch of bats. Now we're going to attract as much as we can here. We're just going to start shooting them off. Bats are a bit difficult if you're not a warlock. Warlocks can shoot inside of the walls with their special abilities, whereas no other character can. So when they're flying over a wall, you cannot damage them, which is what makes them so difficult to take care of. And like a huge pain in the ass, actually. That was a good shot. Now the spawner doesn't recognize I'm here yet, so he's not spawning anyone. Now you'll see my my arrows actually ricochet to the nearest target. What that means is that if there was a target, which there was there, that was closer than the other one, then that's the target it's going to shoot for. So even though I had a clear shot, stupid bats, even though I had a clear shot at the spawner here, it still tried to go for the other guy first, because technically he was closer to my character. It's all about how close they are to your avatar itself. Now we're going to go ahead and grab some healing items and head to the next floor. Secondly, I have 6 ore and 723 gold. So we're actually going to go drop off all of that. In the beginning, I don't expect to die on the next floor. I really don't. But this is just to show you about how you should go around for the first time through the mines themselves. It's very important to make sure you send something back every time, or you will make 0 progress. Now you can see here, I'm sending 6 ore and 706 gold. Now I've got 723, but there's a 2% tax on it. The tax is based on how much gold you have on your character and how much is in the town. Did you hear that and there? Totally bugged system. So you can upgrade it, and I'll show that here in a little bit, to where you don't have to spend or you don't take as much of a hit from the taxes, but it's never like a substantial amount. When you get into the late game of this particular dungeon, what happens is you get hundreds of thousands. Like, there's just buku gold is just gotten right in front of you. I actually did a tester run today on my actual save file, and on that actual save file, I skipped all the first floors all the way to the end just to see if I could, and I did. When I got to the end, I had 72,000 gold and 46 ore, something to the effect. That's a really good number for like 25 minutes of work. That's amazing. And I mean, I skipped the floors. So yeah, that comes into play. That tax is huge. So with that 70 some odd thousand gold, if I were to send it back, I'd get maybe 32,000 of that. Maybe 32,000. That tax is ridiculous. But anywho, we're going to talk about the character right now and the items. Currently, I've got the Heavy Gauntlets, which is 15 health. I like the set items because you get just free things for having more than one of them. If I get 2 of the Journeyman's outfit, I will have +5 to my armor. If I get 3, +5 to attack power, works just like Diablo 3. And I'm also a level 2 sorcerer now, as opposed to level 1. Now, let's head to the next floor. Great. This is right here in the beginning, which is super nice. In case I get into a scenario where I'm not comfortable or kosher with going forward. Alright, all the bats are down, except for these ones. Let me just take care of that guy. Alright, we start collecting more gold. Now, if the gold is so taxable, why even collect it? Because you can come across shops. And with shops, I always buy everything I can. Like, that's like asking you to get something very specific, and it's spectacular. That was a super duper armored dude, and he's always a pain to kill. Hybrid damage or physical, it doesn't matter. He's just a pain in the ass. Now remember, you just got to keep going a little bit back every time you move forward, every time an enemy comes near you. And just that little bit of movement works it. Now, pay attention. When you shoot, you slow down a lot every time a bullet's coming out. So I never just hold down and go, because it's a very slow movement. You want to be clicking. Every chance you can, you want to click. We got a little bit of space here to try and start taking those guys out. Good, good, good. All right, there's a little dude there. We're going to talk about that here in a second. Lots of damages. Good stuff. It's also important not to just move straight back. They don't have the range right now to do anything specific, but later on you'll be fighting archers. And the archers can actually hit you even though you're moving backwards. Their arrows are very quick. And you want to make sure that you're constantly dodging everything. Now this guy, he says he got trapped in here, refill his supply magic spring. He got a magic spring here. They're located everywhere. You go up to them, the little icon comes up when you can use them. See, right now I've got full potions, which is right here, it just got added, and full health and mana, so I can't use it even if I hit X 100 times. It turns out it's an X, but it will go to where you can use it when you can use it. And it's only when it's needed, which I think is a really cool aspect, because you could accidentally have used the... you don't want to accidentally use it when you're at full, because the potions are very important in this game. Matter of fact, one of the first things we'll upgrade is the apothecary when they're in town. And we'll explain that when we're there. Now, as I said, you want to search up first and go down second. Walk time in this game is very slow, especially in the beginning. So you want to try and utilize as much as you can about not backtracking. And that's what we're shooting for right here. Oh, come on. This is called the round method. What you do is you constantly move around and try not to take that 19 damage that dude just did to my face. Oh my gosh. That was a lot of damage to my face. Oh my goodness. Okay, I went ahead and pissed some people off, which is fine. Now, casting a spell also stops you dead in your tracks. You want to make sure that you're in a safe place when you try and cast your spells. This guy is going to be the bane of your existence in the first couple of floors. He's hardcore. He shoots 3 poisoning bullets. And the fact that they're poisoning is just detrimental to what you're trying to accomplish here. So we're going to just shoot him with that. Just a quick 19 damage. Freeze everybody else because another one of those guys is there. This is when movement becomes very important. You want to try and constantly stay moving to make sure you're not too stagnant. Here it seems a bit simple to dodge the bullets, but later on it becomes very difficult. And you want to make sure that you are quite adverse in getting this particular task done. It seems slow going, but again, you're just starting off. Towards even mid-game, you're just going to be running through here at a pace that is lightning fast. This is just because it's the beginning. I came in here with nothing. Like, normally you're supposed to buy stuff from the store and have some keys on you, and I mean, you'll get there once you start playing. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 3, 1, 2. We'll cut that off. Always look for a butt when you go through a trap. Always. Alright. Take care of these guys here. Now you'll also notice I've leveled up once, maybe twice. And my damage is the exact same. That's because your level ups don't give you stats. It gives you base mana and health. You'll also notice that my mana is at 91 and my health is at 45 of 60 now, which is amazing. Oh, hold on. It's supposed to be 45, but I have this that gives me an extra 15 health, which is really good. The pamphlets and the encyclopedias are one of the most amazing items you can get in the beginning. They increase your damage to a specific enemy type, as well as give you more experience from that specific enemy type. What's an aberration? Well, oh, where's my... I don't have it. Huh. Maybe I have to find that later on? I'll have to find that later on. There's a book you can look up to what the aberrations are and like what each type is. Now, if you can see stairs going up, that's the end of the level. So I'm eventually going to be coming this way anyway. There's no point in clearing that without clearing this other section first. So we're going to head back. Again, it's all about optimizing your movement because as you can see, you move really slow. And going through an area you've already been in is terrible. And just... now here, run across. Now the enemies do take damage from traps, and you can utilize that to try and help you kill them quicker. As you saw, the enemies were taking boat tons of damage through this here dart trap. Come a little further down. Just oop. Get that guy. Excellent coming here. Needed a bit of health. Okay, now that potion I've got, I meant to show you if you don't have the guy that's in the spring, he's on the second floor always when you first come in, when you first get to the second floor. Once you find him, he's found forever. On your character sheet, this actually is always here. It's always there. It says you have 1 charge, and it says it heals 50 HP and 50 mana. Not true at all. You have to find that guy in front of that well before you actually get access to hit spacebar to use it. So while you might have a potion on you or a pot, you cannot use it until you find that one gentleman that's standing near the well. And he is the apothecary, which we will be using in town vigorously. Because what he gives you inside of here is just too good. Now that ended all the enemies. That is all the traps for the second floor, but I've only got 1 ore and 683 gold. So we're just going to go ahead and move on to the next floor. We're going to double check the map, make sure I didn't miss anything of importance. No, we are doing just fine. So next floor we go. Now because I've already sent some back to the town, I'm not going back empty-handed, even if... Ooh. Almost got me too. That's good that there's an apple there. There's 2 apples there. What kind little beetles? These guys are going to cause a huge problem. Because the problem isn't that they're going to do so much damage. The problem with the bats is they block my shots. It's like I was trying to hit the guys who were actual threats that were coming at me, but I couldn't because the bats were in the way. So you're going to want to try and get them gone. I did not want to do that. Ooh, 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 this is death right here. Come on, there we go. That should not have been a situation I got into. I got distracted with talking. Nothing wrong with you guys, you're good. Okay, so we're going to try and do the same thing. It's a very short quarter I have, so my shots have to count, every single one of them. There we go. I have no health regen, so I'm going to be at 2 until it heals, until I find a food item. Good, good, good. Not enough to take off the red, which I was kind of hoping for, actually. Good stuff. I'll kill him. Bring his little bitty friends. Remember, this is a kiting game, so I shouldn't be taking damage anyway. Okay. I don't need mana. There's no food over here, which is unfortunate as balls, but it's fine. We're going to make it work. There's a shop. Now, that's why I didn't deposit my monies on the last floor we were on. Because in that shop, I can get something beautiful. See that crack right there? That's a secret. We're going to talk about that as soon as we get over there. So we're going to head up this way. We're just going to start killing dudes. We accidentally drew too much attention, but that's okay. Going to make this work. Boom. Wonderful. These guys are a huge threat because they do a lot of damages. We got that guy there. He's gone. Good. You'll also notice I'm not using my magic ability too frequently. You don't want to run out of mana when you need it the most. I probably should have used it again when I was over here getting the crap knocked out of me by those guys. But it's all good. Okay, now here's a well to send my stuff back. But again, I'm not going to do it because there's a shop there. And I think we're going to be all right. Good stuff. Make sure I'm not going to attract any unwanted BS while I'm here. Give me an apple when you die. An orange would be better, to be honest, but it's fine. Okay, now we have to be super careful. These darts do 10 each. Or 15. Yeah. I wasn't looking at the place I was supposed to be looking. That was my bad. It's good, though. That was a good first run in the caverns. Now I come back with 6 ore and 706 gold. Beautiful amount. First thing we're going to do is we're going to come in here. We're going to talk to this guy. Now, this know-me looking dude is how you upgrade your buildings. Now, the apothecary is a huge necessity. So we're going to go ahead and upgrade him first. No one's going to suggest you ever do that, mind you. But I have found that getting additional potion charges or anything through here is ridiculously handy. If I would have had an additional potion charge on the last time I went into there, we would have been just fine. But right now, we're just going to take potion charges, because that's the most important thing. We've got 206 left for our second go-round, because we already went to the apothecary. That's the most we can spend. We're going to... Ooh, if we had 250, we could have gotten the firm buckler. Would have been nice. We're going to use the monster pamphlet aberrations, because it increases damage and experience from that particular type of enemy. Now, you'll notice we have 3 stars over here because we leveled once, almost at a 2nd level. I shouldn't have tried that trap at such a low HP. That was my bad. So we're going to come and talk to him. And what we can do is we can get Biting Chill to level up. We do have Biting Chill currently. Oh, we do not. You have to actually open that one up. I had no idea. And our Frost Shard does 6 damage hybrid style, and it ricochets 1 time. Whereas our Comet does 40 hybrid damage, and the enemies are frozen in place for 2 seconds. So when you come here and talk to him, we can upgrade that, but it costs 2 more mana to cast the Comet. Or we can do this, which does 8 damage and ricochets 2 times, which I'm going to go ahead and click on, even though you should never upgrade his primary attack in the long run. The reason I clicked on it is because when we go in this second time, you're actually going to notice a huge difference in how quickly things die. And that's what's important. We're trying to get as far as we can and get as much stuff as we possibly can. So we're going to come through here and we're going to start grabbing stuff just like we did last time. We're going to clear up first, down second. And we're going to go ahead and just move this right along. Oh, we got some bats following us. Now see, that killed 3 bats, does 8 damage now. Super good. 1, 2, 3. So you want to go 3, 2, 1. Boom. Again, we're going to hit the button, open the thing, get a life stone. Beautiful stuff. Now the shop is important. We'll explain why it's important a little later on. As it stands currently, we're just going to try and get this apothecary tended to. Now, with the apothecary, what we got was we got an additional charge on our potions. So here, I have a bar that's split into 2, which means I can use it twice as opposed to just once now, which means that I can have an oh crap moment multiple times, which is spectacular. This is called the round strategy. You circle everyone in the room, and you constantly fire towards the center. And then eventually everything dies, and you'll see I took no damage there, which is just spectacular. Now, as always, we're going to clear up first, then go down. And as you can see over there, we got a super spiffy crack in the wall. You'll understand what these are and what they look like a little later on. They can open up to literally anything. More heavy gauntlets, which is fantastic. We also have more items this time, so when I go over the items one more time, you'll see almost exactly what I'm talking about. That's unfortunate as heck. There we go. We have to clear that anyway in order to get to the exit, so we're just going to pick another spot to go into real quick like. Actually, we're going to go to this one over here instead. Now, as I mentioned earlier, you probably don't want to put any points into his primary attack. It's not a very smart thing to do. This character is mostly based on his magics and not heavily on what he's doing with his primary attack. It is a decent primary attack, but it's only really good in the first couple of levels. As you get further along, his magics become really, really good. And that's because of his passive, but that's not what we're talking about now. We're talking about basic tips and tricks just to get your foot in the door and get stuff working and going. Okay, lots of items this time. Fantastic. Now we're going to come back up this way, clear all this out in order to get ourselves towards the exit. Okay, we're going to want this guy dead because he's off at an angle that we don't really like there. You don't want anyone coming up behind you. Okay, now we're going to change to the map real quick. There is no legend on this map, but you need to understand everything is on the map. A green plus is a health item, a food item. A blue diamond with a circle around it, that is a mana healing item. These circles with dots in the middle are ore, and that is the exit. This is the only entrance that has an arrow on it that's pointing up because you walked on flat ground to get in here. You just went to the front of the mines. But most of them will look like this, backwards and gray. So the arrow will be going down, and it'll be gray, and that's where you entered in. The spikes on the ground look like red maroon squares, and the rest of it you kind of just pick up as you go along. But this will help you out in the long run on where is worth going and not worth going. Now see, that's an orange. It heals for more than an apple. We're going to come this way real quick. Here's the button. Here's my item. Now that box was not locked. If it's not a locked box, it can have a diamond in it, a food item, or basically anything, save gold. Like it'll have an actual item that's attainable, but it will not have always an item that goes into your inventory. What I mean by that is, if the box has a key on it, then you will find an item that goes into one of these slots. If it does not have a key on it, you have a chance of finding an item that goes into one of these slots. Currently, I've got a Ring of Rejuvenation, Monster Pamphlet, Lifestone, Heavy Gauntlets, and the Firm Buckler. Now, you'll see right here from the Ring of Rejuvenation that I have plus 0.1 health regen and 0.2 mana regen. So here, my base is 1.7, but I get plus 2 from items. That plus 2 from item is from that regenerated item over here. So you'll see that reflected through your stats here. However, down here where your abilities are, these will never change. They will always say whatever current level you are currently at. It will not go up because you get more skill power. It will not go up because you get more attack power. Nothing like that. Those will continuously stay stagnant from when you enter the dungeon to when you exit. So we're going to move right along to the next floor. Alright, see, we're doing 7 damage to those beetles now, and 8 to the bats. Bats have no armor, they're normal enemies, so they take a full amount of damage from any attack that's thrown their way. The beetles have a bit of armor, so they take a little bit less. They're considered as a light armored unit in the game. Now, it may look like my attack speed's a little bit faster, but it's not. You just kind of get into the swing of things. And we're going to come down here. And now I'm doing 5 damage to those super armored guys as opposed to 4, which is quite nice. Now you're supposed to go up first, no lie. That is the best way to clear things, but I've been playing this a while, and I knew that this was going to be a cavern that went to not the exit. There's how that goes down to Chinatown. I've got 5 ore. I'm going to go ahead and finish clearing this floor and get to the end of it before I send all of my stuff back. Because at this point in the game, 5 ore, that's a full town upgrade right there. And totally worth doing. We'll come to this one. Hit that. Ooh, Apothecary's Herbs. Apothecary is a set that's unlocked once you get the guy next to the well, because he is the apothecary. This is one of the best sets in the game, in my opinion. Pots are super important. They're there for your oh shit moments. They're like the flash button in League of Legends. When you get into a situation you probably shouldn't have, they're there to save the day. So having a good amount of pots that heal you for boat tons is really important. And the Apothecary set, I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about. When having 4 of these items, gives you a 1% chance to refill a potion charge when killing an enemy. And at the end, there are just hordes of enemies. And you kill things like bats, and they come by like at least 3 dozen at a time. It is crazy. So having that 1% chance, it generally refills your potions to full almost every room you go into. And there's no more of a concern of refilling your potions at wells, because you just get them back. Now, the Apothecary sets don't help you when you're fighting bosses, for the most part. Because you have to kill enemies. And generally, bosses don't operate in a way that allow you to kill a boat ton of enemies to be able to do any of the special things that any of the combo items or combo set pieces or anything like that would allow you to have. It's kind of restricting, but I mean, it's cool. I mean, you know, you don't really need them in the long haul. All right. Another very important aspect of this game is things are very repetitive isn't the right word, but pretty close to it. The coding is very specific in where it allows certain things to spawn. For instance, here, there cannot be a secret on either of these 2 walls at all. This one, the way it's coded, this one has the wood on it with the panels between. There's never going to be a secret on this here wall. And you just know this over time. And in this particular floor of the dungeon, there was never an instance or an issue with moving forward. Now see, that time it had an ore in it, as opposed to an item that was attainable and shows up on your list. Now we have 8 ore. Normally, I just go to the next one and keep going. We're doing a tutorial right now, or hits and tips in the beginning. So I'm going to go ahead and shoot that back. That's going to give me a total of 9 ore in town. Well, Apricot, how am I going to know that if I didn't keep track like you did? And what happens later on when the numbers are a little more complicated? Well, I'm going to show you. You go to your character page, and in your resources tab, this is what you're currently carrying on you. You can see I have 1,278 gold and 8 ore. This is what's currently in town, 6 gold and 1 ore. So when you push that through, this is what's going to total it all out. So you're never in the dark of what you're going back to in the town, no matter how many times you send stuff back from here. The other important thing is if you hover over the amount of gold you have in town, it shows you your current tax rate. My current tax rate is 4.77, so about 5%. So when I send this off, it's going to take like, oh man, like 40 something, I think. I want to say. Let's find out. 1217. It took it took 61 of my gold. I was very, very far off. 61 of my gold with a 4% tax. But the 8 ore all goes to town. So now that I sent it off, I have 0 and 0 again. Well, Abracad, what the hell am I supposed to do? Well, here's what you do. You hit character again, and you see that there's 1,223 and 9 back at town, which is where you use all of those resources. So it's a perfect thing to do to just keep sending it back. I wouldn't say do it every floor. Like I said, you're going to get your own feel for it and your own play style. For me, if I have a boat ton of ore for that particular time, I'm sending it back instantaneously. Well, what do you consider a boat ton of ore? Well, currently in my town, it costs 5 ore to level up the town. So anything above 5, if I have it on me, it was stupid to not send it back, because if I die in a ridiculous way, which is very, very probable, especially early on, then I want to make sure that I can at least make one upgrade in town that will be beneficial for me to move forward. And if I have a run that doesn't occur on, I don't like it, because it's like a big waste of time. Oh, this guy. Now this is an elite. He's got a buff on him. That's super annoying. You'll see I'm going to be able to take him down a little bit at a time here. Run past him. There we go. Oh, there we are. And now that he's against the wall, your shots can hit multiple times on the same target if they ricochet through him. So I can hit one target 3 times now with one shot. So being in that small corridor was amazing for that particular elite fight. I call them elites. They can also be called champions if you feel more comfortable with that, because they're not really elite-y. They're more just champions, bigger versions of things that are already in the dungeon, and they do one special thing. That one gave bloodlust to everything around him, which is pretty cool, I guess. Really want that guy dead. Okay, there we go. Really don't like those guys. They're my least favorite. Like I said, when you're the sorcerer, you can find yourself having a hard time hitting an enemy. Hit the wall next to him. It'll ricochet off and hit them. No harm, no foul. And it'll actually, that little trick there saved me so much when I found out about it. It makes so much sense. And then again, you have a small problem with the range of where people are. It's kind of annoying. All right, we're still doing great. Still doing wonderfully. This is also the second one, which means I have an upgraded ability. So your level does make a huge difference in where you can go in the game. I've blocked it down to about 3 different tiers. In the first tier, you've got the first boss, which is about level 5. At level 5, the first boss becomes not easy, but not difficult. And that becomes important because the second boss is listed off at 10. I'm not even paying attention to what I'm supposed to be paying attention to. He's the level 10 boss. So at level 10, he's not insanely easy, but he's sure as heck not difficult anymore, which is really important. Saw the second one coming. I was hoping to get him in on that too. Didn't want him to shoot off first. There we go. Oh, one of those guys. So speaking of the pamphlet I have is actually to kill that guy a lot faster. I do 10% additional damage to him, which is great because he's like my nemesis. I've been killed by these guys more time than I like to admit. That's why I know how to beat them so easily. Like, don't worry if an enemy kills you regularly. You'll eventually get the trick down to taking them out. Um, and with only having one upgrade in my skill tree, this isn't really much better than the first time I came in here. It is you can feel the difference in the primary attack, but other than that, there's not really much difference from here and having 0 stars coming in. All right, so here's another elite. There's 2 elites actually. This is fantastic. Elite terrible. I'm gonna try and at least get one of these suckers down. There we go. Now, see, that's where your mana comes in, and you're going to want to have a lot of that sitting on the sidelines there. Make sure you can get done what needs getting done. Oh, crap. That was very unfortunate. Whoa, whoa. Stupid little hole in the wall. Whew. That was intense. Believe it or not. Grab some mana too. You don't really have a lot of health regen or mana regen. You can see my health's ticking up very little amounts right now, whereas my mana is just like flying up. That's because this game works on a counter system. So 0.15 is my health regen currently. That means about once every, it's per second or per half second, something to the effect of. That's how much my health goes up, but it doesn't show on the ticker until it's a full point. And that's where that all comes from. There we go. Clearing them out. This isn't really a big issue. This guy's going to die fairly quickly. We've got another one. In case you're curious, we're going to show the map real quick. I think I've covered enough to hit that one over there. No, I have not. All right, we're going to get a little closer and we're going to run away. That's what we're going to do. Sha! Hopefully that's enough. There you go. Just really wanted that guy dead. Okay, so now we're going to come up a little further on the map. And we're going to come back. We're going to hit C. Okay, so this little red circle with a black circle or a black cross taken out of the middle of it, that is a spawner or a special thing on the map. The arbitration, the little plant guy down here, I think they're called man-eaters, that were shooting the thing across the floor, my nemesis. Yeah, he shows up as the exact same thing. Just that little, the red circle with the black cross in the center of it. That way you can get a better idea of like what's in a room you're trying to get to, and whether or not it's worth going to. Here we go. I want to say the enemies were built more on sound than they were on sight in this game. Because I've seen more of them come at me from when I shoot something into a room versus like being close enough for them to be able to see me. We're going to be able to do that trap because we have a lot more health right now. This trap is really simple. Ooh. I forget I'm not a high level anymore. An X comes above my character here because I don't have a key to open up that chest. So there's nothing I can do in order to open it. We're going to come through this way as well. That chest, however, does not require a key. There we go. Just got to know where to look. Now this is a green item. I believe that's uncommon. This one says physical damage ignores 20% of the enemy's armor. I'm not entirely sure how that works with hybrid. Like I said, it's half and half. That's what hybrid means. It's half armor, or half physical and half magical damage. So we're going to have to just see what we can do about this. Hopefully there's an enemy I can start wailing on. It'd be really nice. All right, now we've got 1 ore and 607 gold right now, which is pretty nice. No enemies left on the map. That just had a diamond in it. And ooh, not that way. I have done that several times, by the way. Looking at my my map while I'm running around and then just walking right into a trap. You can see them on the board. Like right here, you can see the little arrows going back and forth. But when you're just trying to see something or go somewhere, it's just, it is terrible. Absolutely terrible. You see that refilled my charge over here for my my potion. Now we're just going to keep going. We're going to move to the next floor now. Now there's 3 floors and then a boss. So that was the 3rd floor. Now this is the boss. I don't know if I'm going to be able to beat him, but I am sure as heck going to try. And I am really excited to see if I can get this done. The key when you get to this guy for the first time is do not take damage. Don't think, oh, I've got 2 pots, it's cool, I'm just going to lay some damage on him. It's just the key. Just don't take damage. Crack. Oh, no, no, no. Had a pot there. Got a pot again, actually. That is ridiculously unfortunate. Okay, let's try not to take the same hit again. There we go. Scheiße. Oh no. Oh no. Oh, that was it. I knew it. I knew it. I couldn't dodge it. Whew, just not fast enough. That's all right. Okay, so we have 9 ore. He knows my heart's beating a mile a minute, man. That is an intense battle when you first get to it. Whew, it is on these bosses super well. I've got 3 stars here. So we're going to come here. With 9 ore, honestly, I should do the blacksmith. The blacksmith is the first one you really want to do. It's not the apothecary. I'm going to go ahead and do the blacksmith now as opposed to upgrading the town hall. And then I'm going to show you why. If I had done the blacksmith last time as opposed to the apothecary, I wouldn't have had the 2 potion charges, so that would have been the best of plans on my part. It's just I play with potion charges more. You can upgrade your armor, your weapon, your crit chance, and your boots. Now, please keep in mind, upgrading your weapon or the crit chance here only works on what it says on the screen. Primary attack only. It does nothing for your skills. So it's not an overall critical chance. It's just a crit chance when you left click on your mouse, if that's what you have that bound to. That's very important to know. Initially, you want more movement speed and more armor. And that was the most perfect way that could have gone down in Chinatown. We're going to come back over here, and I'm going to see if there's anything else I want. I don't think there is, to be honest. We could slow him down, but that wouldn't really make sense. Comet goes to 70 damage versus the 40 it's on. So that wouldn't be that bad of an upgrade. We're going to go ahead and snag that too. Just a little bit more damage, 30 more as a matter of fact. And you can see its effects right here, 36 versus 26. Like even on a main dude, on a dude with nothing on him, it's got to directly hit him. And unfortunately, this is what I don't like about the sorcerer. It always goes the exact same distance, no matter where your mouse is. It's always going to go out that far from you, like no matter what. So that's it. This is the first run. Is the first 2 runs in the Steam. We're gonna keep going till I believe the second boss is gonna be the other one we're gonna go for, and we're gonna have the town upgraded. But I'm gonna do all of this in the videos. Thank you so much for watching. We're gonna do part 2 of tips and tricks. Actually, it's going to be a grind session and then part 2 of tips and tricks to see if we can't get people moving in a better direction. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope this helped you out in all your ventures through Heroes of Hammerwatch.